Welcome to the Tech School Podcast brought to you by DSDT. I am joined by James, an instructor here at the school. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going all right. Carlos?
Hi, my name is James. I'm an instructor here at the school.
A little bashful at times, a little bit. And I'm Josh. James, we brought you in today because we want to learn more about this NVIDIA RTX 3080 Ti. People are going crazy over it. It's going for like $1,200 at electronic stores. What is this?
So this is a video card. Usually your computer, if you don't have an actual video card itself, the CPU actually makes the video. With a video card, you basically get two engines. So you have your CPU that's doing all of the calculations for everything else, and then you have the video card that's producing just the video. So your computer can be much faster, and usually it's used in graphics rigs where you're trying to play video games and get the most amount of frames per second, or doing 4K, or even in video editing and things like that.
But $1,200?
$1,200 is actually a really cheap price. If I had one that I could buy for $1,200 right now, I would buy it, and then I would put it on eBay for $2,400 because that's what that card is going for, even though that card came out yesterday.
Okay, how long has this kind of technology been on the market?
So this technology's been on the market for over a decade, easily. Actually, probably for 2 decades. The problem is right now there's such a shortage in the silicon that it's creating like a, with COVID, it's creating a backlog, and now they can't produce as many cards as people want to buy. So you have scalpers that are buying it, putting it for twice as much as what it's for sale for originally in 2 hours. You could.
So is this specifically like a video gaming card, or do they use them like in other, like, I don't know, lightning trucks or whatever the case
Cryptocurrency?
Right.
So, yeah, they use them for cryptocurrency because you can create cash with Bitcoin mining, or Ethereum mining. You make probably about $5 per day with one of these cards. Most guys that are actually doing Bitcoin mining and stuff like that, they might have 8 cards that are all hooked up together, making $5 in passive income every day, which adds up over time. So your video card would basically pay for itself within 6 to 9 months, and then after that, you're just still making money. And if the currency actually rises and you hold on to it, it can be worth even more money. So you have that in the supply chain, which is basically making scalping the number one way to buy these products right now. And it's the same thing that happened during Christmas. If you look at during Christmas, you couldn't get a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox 360X unless you bought it off of somebody else, because people were buying them, adding a markup to them. Why? Because they have graphics processors inside of them. Same thing. COVID killed the supply chain of being able to get silicon itself, and now they're still struggling to actually catch up. I think that they said that it's probably going to be the same thing for the rest of this year and maybe the next half of next year.
Okay. I see you keep trying to raise your
No,
hand.
go
right?
ahead,
But
Carlos. Go for it.
I'm just a normal, everyday Joe, right?
Right.
I mean, I'm good if I'm able to go on Google, check my Gmail. You know, I'm good if I'm able to edit just a video in Premiere. I'm good. Why is any of that important to me, just the normal blow?
It's not.
It's not.
Unless,
so none of that affects me in any type of way, shape, form, or fashion?
not really.
Okay.
Not really, because unless you want to have like really great graphics, you don't care about really great graphics, doesn't apply to you at all.
Okay, so when you're talking about the scalping effects of it, does that have anything to do with any type of illegal activity? Because, I heard on the news this morning where they were talking about they just, I think it was the FBI or someone confiscated like $2.something million in cryptocurrency for some hackers.
So the scalpers are actually legitly buying these systems, and once you buy them, you can do whatever you want with them. It's a supply and demand problem. They can't make them fast enough. So if they can't make them fast enough, people are willing to pay more money to make their rig faster. Well, if they can make their rig faster, or they can make more money producing cryptocurrencies or whatever they're doing, they'll pay for it. If they weren't paying for it, you wouldn't see them for like 20, I think they're like 22, 23, $2,400 right now on eBay. Tons of them.
Is it just me, or is the shortage making this device even more popular?
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know what it was until last week.
I went to Micro Center on Friday, and there was people sitting outside, and I think I was there at like about noon.
People camped outside for 37 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
In Troy.
Yes.
On Haggerty Road, Best Buy.
For this graphics card.
For this graphics card. Exactly.
So why don't we have some of those? I'm asking you. This is CTO here.
Intervention happening.
This is CTO. Why don't we have some of these?
Why don't have a credit card with DSDT's name on it, and then we can get whatever we want.
Boss and instructor having a little conversation right now. Yeah.
So
now you see what got my attention to this.
Right. In the grand scheme of things, why are these cards so important?
Well, they've only had these cards. These cards actually came out, this batch of cards. You know, they make new batches of cards, like the TI version, that just came out like this month.
What does TI stand for? Like, okay, NVIDIA RTX 3080 Ti, what does that mean?
So that's a model number,
Okay.
right? So 3080 Ti or the 3080 was the model number,
All right.
right? Usually the Ti's are a little bit stronger than the regular versions. The actually only difference between those two models is they have 10 gigs of RAM on the 3080 and they have 12 on the 3080 Ti. There's actually only about 5% difference between the two cards themselves. The original card came out at like $700. This one came out with 2 gigs more of RAM that basically only gives you 5% of a difference between that for $300 more. And for those $300 more, you can see what people are scalping them for. It's a ridiculous amount.
Okay, so when we're talking about like 5G technology and we're talking about like a virtual world perhaps that we're going to live in, could this perhaps have something to do with the grand scheme of all that?
No. What do you mean by...
So could these graphic cards allow those environments to be even that more realistic?
Yes, most definitely, because you have to render all of that stuff. So any kind of like any of your like Adobe products and stuff like that, when you're doing like Adobe Premiere that you said that you do, you're doing small stuff. But when you start getting into like CAD and doing like real big motion pictures and stuff like that, having those kind of graphics cards just basically means that you can render the information so much faster, so you're not stopping to wait for things to actually render, because it's just a huge amount of math.
Okay.
I'm looking up on eBay to see if I can even find this device right now. I'm just curious.
I'm telling you can. It's going to be about $2,200 minimum.
At least $2,000.
I told you. Double your money. It's a great investment. If you can buy one over the next 3 months, you can probably get double your money just by posting it out on eBay and getting it.
Okay, so you buy this device, you take it home, you take it out of the box. How do you hook it up to your laptop or your CPU?
So you can't hook it up to your laptop. You would take apart a desktop if the desktop actually has enough power in it to run it.
Back up a second. So you're
You
paying
lost me when he said laptop.
Yeah, you can't put that in a laptop.
Okay. So wait a minute. So you spend at least $1,200 for this, probably $2,000 now. You take it home. You can't hook it up. You can't just simply connect it to your laptop. Laptop is not even part of the conversation.
No.
All right. So
That's
laptop, gone. All right, we got that. Oh.
Actually, almost any computer that you buy from like Dell or HP, like a work computer, even if it is a desktop, you can throw that out too.
What kind of computer do you need?
A computer that has enough wattage to actually run those devices, because they take about 350 watts just for that device, which used to be the standard power supply of most computers like 5 years ago.
And what are some of those computers? I'm assuming Apple is.
No. Oh well, you can probably get it.
What?
You can get it, and if you buy it from Apple, I think that you can get it that way. But Apple's too proprietary. You're not just slamming anything into the Apple device.
So what are they, like gaming computers? Or
Gaming computers are mostly what they're actually used for, and mostly it's people that actually built their own, or they can buy them from like a third-party vendor, somebody that you probably never heard of before, to put it all together for you and send it to you.
Yeah, Josh, I knew that. Well,
Right. What do you say?
You can do it.
James, you hit on something else too that really got my attention. You said you buy this device, you take it home, you take apart your CPU, and then you
take apart your computer. You basically have to take off the one side, and then if you have a video card in there, you have to remove that video card to put this video card in, unless you have a big enough system that maybe you can run both. It depends. If you got one, I could put it in one of my computers. If you find one for $2,000, bring it in. I'll show you how it works, as long as I get to walk away with it when we're done.
yeah. Find it, if you will. Yeah.
I'll run it with my 2070.
And okay, so basically, if you even buy this technology, you need to be in the game. You need to know what you're doing.
And realistically, it's drove mostly by video games. That's their consumer market, is video gamers that are actually trying to go after getting 4K screen resolutions at, over 60 frames per second, up to like 144 frames per second, playing realistically very complicated math problems. That's really what it does. It builds those screens.
But I want to get back to the point you made earlier about cryptocurrency and how you can
so you can monetize the actual card.
Monetize this investment if you use it the right way.
Right. So my system right now makes like $3 or $4 a day. Whenever I'm on my computer or I'm not, it's still making me $4 a day, and that's if the current value stays at where it's at. Now, I don't have like an actual mining rig. Now, if I wanted to set that up like you have people doing,
Isn't that legal?
Yeah, it's legal. You're paying for the electricity. You're paying for the card. You can actually mine it. I think that it did go illegal in China a little while ago. But as for right now, it's actually legal. And that's after you pay for your electricity. You probably make about $3 or $4 a day or $5 a day, depending on which card you have or how many cards that you have, because you got some people that are putting together systems that don't even run in a box. They run on a rack, and the rack has like 8 video cards in it by itself.
You say electricity, but does this thing run up a lot of juice?
Well, it runs 350 watts, so yeah, it runs up a lot of juice.
In comparison to what device in my house would have that type of wattage? Air conditioning, central air?
Yeah, I'm wondering,
Yes.
do you have your AC on 70 all day, every day? Like, I'm trying to find out.
That too. Yeah. And that's if you don't have like a rack full of servers and stuff spiraling downstairs.
So basically, it's like a grow operation.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna have to change our meter out and everything.
Actually, there was a story that I read not too long ago where the cops kicked in the door of a place over in Europe, wherever they thought it was a suspected grow operation. It was just Bitcoin miners. They were just, because they looked at like the heat, right? So they looked at it through thermal lenses, and they see all this heat, which they thought was like grow lamps. It wasn't grow lamps. It was all these big, huge systems that were all running back to back to back to back. And one of the other telltale signs of a grow operation is that electricity is going through the roof, and they actually still got in trouble because they were like bypassing the meter or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they still got in trouble, but they didn't get what they went in there for. They basically broke down the door thinking that they were, gonna be some like some like guys that were just in there like growing all this stuff, and it ends up being like one little tiny geek freaking making crypto mining happen.
James, if you can give me a ballpark percentage on this device being used more so for cryptocurrency or for gamers, like what's the percentage estimating?
I don't know. I mean, I would have to try to even look that up. I'm not really
Not just
sure,
based on
but because
people you talk to, people who are up to speed with this kind of technology, do you hear more people talking about cryptocurrency, gamers?
so most people
graphics?
are actually like gamers, but then the thing that would drive that to be like a different percentage is because, you know, if somebody's actually has like a mining rig that they're running like 8 of them on, you know, like I might buy one to put it in my
Man, that's
desktop.
like a $2,000 electric bill.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And all it's making you is how much? That's 8 times 8, $32 a day?
A day, though.
I don't care.
Yeah, but that's a day.
$32 a day?
That's a day after electricity cost. That's
Okay.
just profit.
Okay.
And actually that profit is then in that
Oh.
coin, and then that coin, then if it goes up in value, you know, you have like, what is it? I think Bitcoin's at like 35 grand. What if it goes up to 40 grand? Well, now you just went from, you know, having, you know, $6 or $5 a day up to $6 a day. Or if it goes through the roof, maybe it's $10 a day, you know, and depending on how many of those that you've actually made and how long that you keep them for, because you're basically creating them at different times, and it's all volatile on the market.
Is any of or are any of these operations susceptible to hacking?
Everything's susceptible to hacking.
But how vulnerable?
How vulnerable?
How easy?
You actually have pieces of malware that are called cryptojacking, which can actually put a piece of malware on your computer
I've taken over now.
that mine Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that in the background off of your computer.
And I never
like
know
whole
that it's there?
botnets. No, you don't know that it's there. It's like whole entire botnets. People are infecting computers, and instead of like hitting you with like ransomware and trying to get a couple $100 off you, they might just run this in the background off of your system.
Okay, with that being said, 2 questions. How big of a target is this particular technology when it comes to hacking, and what can be done to prevent hacking with your device?
Well, with your device, I mean, obviously you should at least have a couple of different things. You should have a backup of every device, because any information is susceptible to like ransomware, where a piece of ransomware will basically encrypt all of your documents, and then you can't have them back unless you pay somebody. And it's not 100%
I can back up
guarantee.
something like this. I mean, cryptocurrency, you can back that up?
So you can back up your actual wallet. Yeah, you can back that up, but that's more like out in the actual internet itself. You know, there's a company that you're going to put your stuff with. It's kind of like a bank.
Cryptocurrency bank?
Basically, yeah. And there's a bunch of different services that are out there. So it's not so much that you want to worry about. It's the actual computer itself that could be susceptible. So if somebody gets a hold of your computer, you click on the wrong thing, the next thing you know, you're mining Bitcoin in the background. And they're putting it into their wallet. And because all of these crypto technologies and cryptocurrencies are like very hard where you can't actually track them, that's why most hackers want to be paid in Bitcoin, because you can't find where it's coming from. It's decentralized. It goes out to the blockchain. The blockchain brings it back in. That's why every illegal enterprise right now is using some form of crypto technology to actually get payments. That $5 million for the that $5 million that got paid for, what was it, the Colonial Pipeline?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Okay, so at this point, this is where I would like to say, if there was a class, quote me on this, if there was a class at DSDT that I wanted to take, I think he just made me want to take his class.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You are very knowledgeable about the substance at hand, right? And I find that interesting. I really do. I don't know about you guys.
CompTIA doesn't have an NVIDIA 3080 Ti class, but you know, I can make whatever. I'm making an automated vehicle security class right now, so
Right.
I mean, you know.
You guys may want to discuss class on this.
Absolutely, because I'm very interested in it, and at the same time, I like to know, why should I invest? Because I'm just an everyday Joe Blow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I go to work every day. You know, I got things going on with the kids, and I'm just getting back to being comfortable with coming to in-person work, you know, school. Why should this technologies that are going on? I hear a lot about blockchain. I hear about NFTs. I hear about all these things. Why are they so important?
They're so important because they're decentralized systems. If you have a decentralized system, then nobody has total control over the system. So where your government has control about how much money they print and inflation and everything else, that goes away. And there's proof of concepts, and you have the blockchain that basically can check to make sure that things are happening from different areas, and that's what you're actually getting paid with. You're getting paid pieces of Bitcoin basically to make sure that the transactions that are happening are valid on the blockchain. That's really what all crypto mining is.
Who's more speechless, you or me? You.
And if you think that's bad, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that's coming down the pipeline that has nothing to do with like cryptocurrency. Well, it has something to do with cryptocurrencies, which is going to be like decentralized, like computing. They have devices that you can buy and plug into your house and will make you money just like crypto will, but they're like 1 watt. They basically spend about $1 a day. But can earn you somewhere between, what is it, $50 to $100 a day on some networks.
Whew.
So I'm going to say now that we're just going to call this the James Armstrong Show.
Yes. Okay, my final question. For someone who bought this technology, who is a total novice at best, like Carlos or myself, where do you start, like, to make sure you're utilizing this technology to the best of your ability?
I know. Get a damn desktop. Sit outside the store with $1,200 in your pocket.
Yeah, there's a lot, especially like the whole crypto thing is crazy. And there's so many different coins and so many different ways to mine it and different things that you can do either on your operating system, or you might have to have a different operating system, or you could use a different operating system, which might make you more money. There's all kinds of tuning and crazy stuff that goes into that. But on the video game side, basically just getting it in and making sure that you have enough power to actually run it in a desktop, and the desktop is actually worth putting it in is one, and making sure that you have like the most updated drivers that are on there, because that's really one of NVIDIA's like claims to fame is their drivers, because they keep doing those drivers over and over and over again, and they get better during time. So like you could buy that card right now, that card might outperform itself in 6 months because of what they've done to the actual driver over time, which is something that most people just think that when you buy a computer it just slowly fades off, but it can actually get faster if the software that runs it is improved over and over and over again.
Okay, Carlos, I don't know about you.
I got one question. One last question.
Go for it.
Can I use this card in my Sega Dreamcast?
No, but you might be able to emulate your Sega.
I'm just saying. I like, Resident Evil, Sega Dreamcast. I'm just saying.
So no, but if you built a gaming rig, you could emulate the Sega Dreamcast or the Nintendo 64-bit on your computer to run those games. But a lot of times you're probably going to break some of those because they're not built to run at that kind of resolution or that kind of. They're not even programmed to it.
You're gonna burn out the console.
No, or you'll end up with like a little picture like this big, right? Because there's only so many pixels in the Sega.
James, thank you very, very much. A lot of good information, a lot of perspective. Now we know a little bit more about what this is.
Mm-hmm. You have an open invitation. Anytime you want to come back, come back.
Yes.
You're the first invitation I think that we've put out there like that. No, maybe the second. I'll be lying.
But to this extent,
right.
Come back.
Please come back. Bless us with thou almighty.
Right now, there are job opportunities in the tech industry we can train you for. In our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility, classes are beginning monthly in cybersecurity, drone technology, digital marketing, computer programming, film production, and many, many others. If you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to learn a skill local employers are demanding, but one that isn't that of a laborer, at DSDT, you can learn a lot in less than a year.
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's job placement assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
Sat in your car in my driveway. Where did we lose the time? We were just living for Fridays, when I could call you mine. When I could only see blue, you taught me to swim. And when you didn't have to, you took me in. If we can make it.
Welcome to the Tech School Podcast, brought to you by DSDT. We are joined by Ariyana. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Carlos. Okay, Carlos. And I'm Josh. Ariyana, thank you for joining us. You are a former student here at DSDT. You're doing some interesting work in the fashion industry, and you're also working as a model. Explain, what are you up to these days?
Okay, yes, I am a full-time model right now. I didn't just become a model. I started off as a photographer, and I got into film because I've always loved cameras. And so I went to like this place called Michigan Works. Do y'all know Michigan Works?
I think we've heard about it
I've never heard
once
of
or
it.
twice.
Tell me about that too.
Stop it, Carlos. Stop it.
Whatever.
Of course, we know what Michigan Works
Okay.
is. Okay, so
Just making sure.
how did you end up at Michigan Works?
Because I think I was looking for a job at the time, or I was looking at, because I went to OTC for 2 years. I was going to go to Michigan State, but in my heart, it just didn't feel right for me to go up there at the time. So I was like, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, let me stay home, try to figure things out. And so I finished my associates at OCC, and so I still didn't know what I wanted to do.
We figure it out
What were
step
your
by step.
associates in?
Communications.
Okay.
Yeah. And that helped because I like to talk. So then I went to Michigan Works. I think my mom suggested it, just go down there. And so I was looking at the trade school programs that they had. And I saw DSDT. And I was like, let me see what this is about. And so I applied, and I spoke with Julie. I think it's Julie and Lisa are the sisters.
Jamie.
Jamie
and Lisa.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jamie and Lisa. And Jamie her personality is so bright. And so I got enrolled, and so I started doing the film production with Eric, and I loved it. And so then I went and became a photographer, and I loved that. But I started getting in front of the camera, and I really enjoyed that. But I realized I couldn't do everything. I had to kind of pick something for the time being.
Yes.
Not saying I couldn't do it all at some point in my life, but I wanted to focus on something, put my energy all into that. And so that's when I started modeling full time, and I enjoyed it. And my favorite part is collaborating with like other photographers or videographers or makeup artists or just brands, and coming up with these concepts to help their brand and help me as a model to grow.
All right, you also work as a digital creator.
Yes.
Explain that job.
Okay.
What do you do?
Okay, so they may call them as influencers sometime,
Okay.
but these are people who hold a public platform on social media, and they create content for brands. Let's say a brand like Target, they want someone to take pictures with these new products that they have at Target or represent Target outside. So they will reach out to these influencers and come up with a contract to negotiate, and have them take pictures for the brand.
So which platform are you more active on as a digital influencer?
Instagram.
Instagram?
Instagram is my main go-to, but it's not easy. Most people think, oh, they're just taking pictures. It's a full-time job. You know,
I understand.
you have to look the part, you have to be active, you have to engage with people online to build your portfolio or build your following, because consistency is key in anything.
How big is your following? Because
It's-
inquiring minds want to know, right?
Y'all want to know? Y'all want to know?
Right?
Okay, it's growing. I think I'm a little over 1,000 right now
For Instagram?
for Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you do any type of paid advertisement?
I have not done anything with Instagram yet, but I have worked with people where I have been paid.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how long have you been doing this?
It's going on about 2 years now.
Okay.
About 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you call it a full-time job?
I do.
It's a job?
It is a
Or
job.
is it just a hobby?
Oh,
It's a job because
Uncle
as far as-
Carlos.
okay, no, it's fine. It's fine.
And this is a hot seat. This is interrogation zone, right?
No, I'm good. I can handle it.
Okay.
I would say in the beginning, a lot of people have to understand you, especially as a model or people in the entertainment industry, you're not going to get paid in the beginning. You know, a lot of things will be networking and building up your resume and following. But I believe when you are good at what you do and you produce quality work, people will come to you. And a lot of times you can't look at the following, because just because a person has, you can buy followers, okay? I'm not that type of person.
Don't
I will
become that type of
I will
person.
never be.
Don't.
I will work hard for what I want until it comes, till my opportunity comes, and not compromise my values to get to the next level.
Ariyana, very well said. As far as the modeling world, how digital is it becoming?
Well, it's becoming very digital. I heard recently that they're going to start doing digital runway shows. Which I do have to look more into it. Exactly, that's what I said. So what do you need me for now?
I mean,
Where's my job going?
Right.
well, I mean, like when you say digital runway shows, you mean what? Just like holograms or
I've heard of the hologram. And
what?
I know, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, you are just excluding the models now.
I don't want to look at a robot walk up and down the runway.
Depends on how well she looks.
No, it doesn't matter how good she looks. She's not real.
Exactly.
Hold on, don't dare say that again.
I don't like it either, but I would say I'm more of the traditional way. I like the aspect of everyone coming into a room and having the show of the fashion shows, which
Yeah.
I do like those as well. I've done quite a few of those, but it's becoming more digital. I would say social media is everything nowadays, because a lot of these agencies are on social media. They find their new models from social media. The brands promote on social media, and I think it's really big if you're trying to get into the industry, or with this podcast, like social media is everything.
And now it makes sense, because I know a few people who model, and I look at their Instagram pages, and it's constant photos of their work.
Yes, it's like a portfolio, a digital portfolio, in a way. It is.
Okay, so I tell this story from time to time. Let me tell it right here, right?
Yes.
So back in the day when I was young, it's been quite some time ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, right. Right? So one day I was watching this show on Netflix by Tony Robinson, and Tony, the name of the show is "I Am Not Your Guru." I don't know if you guys have ever seen
I've
that.
seen it. I've
right?
seen it.
But in that show,
So I'm not your expert on what?
Tony is a life coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Right? He does everything, and he's
All right.
been doing it for like 30 plus years, right? And I mean, back in the days of Phil Donahue, if you guys even know who he is. So he said something in that special that it rung like a bell in my head. He said, and I'm just going to say it the way he said. No, I won't say it. I kind of bleeped some of it out. He said that you see the MF on stage, that I present before you every day, he said, I created him. And when he said it, it just rung like a bell to me, right? In the day of this digital age, social media influencers, digital content, we have the ability to create our destinies. And we really don't take that for consideration. Sometimes we just post, and we don't even know what we're posting. We post about we had breakfast. We post about I'm going through issues. We post about all these things, but you don't understand that you have the ability to create the next phase and chapter of your life. I got that in that moment. So I'm the guy that prior to I wanted to be the author. I thought it would be the Black John Grisham or someone, right? So I'm writing these novels, and I was sitting there in 2014 with the third release of my novel, and I didn't have any sales this week. It was November 30th, 2014. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my Twitter feed, and I'm like, I got all these followers, like 5,000 followers or something, and nobody bought a book. Then I realized that they weren't my audience. I had to get out and find those that were looking for the content that I was producing. And I found that in doing that, I developed a skill set that other people would pay me for. So I started telling everybody in that instance that I was a digital marketer. If you go back and start to trace through my feeds, you will see from 2014 until the current time, I'm a digital marketer. I'm a digital marketer. Everything you saw said that I was a digital marketer. No different than she's saying that I'm a model. I'm a model. Hey, look at me. I'm a model, right? The more and more you tell people that, the more and more people buy into it. Your content aligns with that. And before long, you have a portfolio that you don't necessarily have to sit down just to create. It's there. I log right in to your feed. I see exactly what you can do. And I'm willing to pay you exactly the value of that as opposed to simply you sitting in an interview said, I want this job making $15 an hour.
Show me.
Right? Isn't that what it's about now?
Yes.
You don't necessarily have to, sell yourself for making minimal wages when there's so much more opportunities by you beginning to create that destiny for yourself.
Carlos, you have a great message here at this school when you walk through the school, and it caught my attention today.
Okay.
Good things come to those who show up.
There you go.
I like that.
And you show it by showing people what you can do. Not saying what you can do, but show them what you can do.
Ariana just said that, right? She said that I understand that I may not get paid in the beginning for what it is that I do. She's looking long term, right? It's not the quick fix. It's not the pie in the sky. Look, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's a lot of hard work involved. I used to manage in my wanted to be a digital marketer days, right? I used to manage 11 accounts for different businesses, social media. And I remember how on a Sunday, I would have to sit for 8 hours just curating content to get it into the calendars to broadcast throughout the week. Do you know how much work that was?
Yeah.
I got to do all the images, may have to do some video work. I have to do all of the copywriting.
There you go.
Thank you for Grammarly, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make it. But these are the type of opportunities that we can align ourselves with. And I didn't necessarily need a PhD in any of this to be able to afford myself the opportunities that I have now. I just started back then with Tony Robinson.
Yes. I love that.
Look at her. She'd say I could be like Creflo Dollar. That's my pulpit. You know what I'm saying? I get a chance to preach a little bit.
I cannot. I love it. I love it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Miss Greatness?
Miss Greater Detroit.
Miss Greater Detroit.
Hey.
Okay, so what's this? What's all of this?
Yeah, I am Miss Greater Detroit. Let me show y'all. There we go.
What?
Yes. So this is I'm running for Miss Michigan this year.
All right.
And so I was going to run 2 years ago, but unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity. So I tried again. They're like, you can go for it. So I feel like it's an opportunity, and I don't want to take advantage of missing out on any type of opportunity that I have. I have a platform that I want to represent, which is health and wellness, and I'm using the skills that I learned here at the school, and I'm going to create a lot of video content and photographs to promote on my social media in the meantime. And I've reached out to some mental health hospitals who are allowing me to come and volunteer with the kids, which is awesome. I love children. And so my goal, if or when I win, I will manifest it when I win. I just want to spread that message to people around the world aspire, like you mentioned, we're always aspiring to do something, but along with aspiring, you have to inspire and touch people along the way. It can't be me.
Right.
You know, ultimately we have to touch the next person, and it's not always about us, because ultimately we want the next generation to become better, and ultimately we can do that ourselves. Don't have to wait on someone else. We don't.
She got it figured out. I'm telling you, she has it figured out. Right? So what I even love more about what she's saying is the fact that it took me a long time to realize that I needed to stop chasing money. Right? I did a lot of things because I thought that I needed money. I need to be able to pay X, Y, and Z. I got, all these responsibilities. I need money. But let me tell you, as I've gotten older, one of the biggest things that I could share with a younger generation or the next generation of students is the fact that when you chase opportunities, you have no idea the future that you're beginning to create for yourself. That's where the biggest portion of your life will be spent after you've gotten the opportunities. I started off myself in the digital marketing world, and I was doing a lot of pro bono work. But at some point, I got to the level to where I could build one-page websites for $5,000. A one-page website. It wasn't nothing greatly involved in it. I just had an opportunity. I produced it for free, and from that point on, I was paid for my work. I've worked with political figures, state legislators, and all that was because I was willing to do pro bono work back when I didn't have a portfolio. That's power in that.
Yes.
So I always believed with aligning myself with opportunities as opposed to simply saying, give me $5,000 today and I'll do X, Y, and Z. No, give me an opportunity today, and somewhere down the line, I'll get $5 million as a result thereof.
Yes. I love it.
Bigger picture.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'd like to thank you for coming out, Miss Greater Detroit.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So what is the next phase of your greatness?
My greatness. That's a good one. I want to continue doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm always striving for more. That's one thing about me. I don't sit still, but I do know I have learned balance, because you got to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna right in the meantime, I'm working on this pageantry right now and working on that. I'm still getting connected with agencies, but ultimately what I want to do is create like a nonprofit organization, which I'm going to do, and it's going to be catered to young women, and just kind of being a mentor. In a way, I've already done that. Okay, I used to play college basketball, right?
Did you?
I did.
Point guard?
Point guard. Playing at a collegiate level was enough for me, and I was happy with that. And so at that moment, I wanted to figure out what was next. It didn't mean basketball was done. I was done with basketball, because I had the opportunity I actually coach a young girl now in basketball. I mentor her, and she goes to Cranbrook, and that's like the most rewarding thing. I saw her recently, and she's going into her sophomore year, and she's getting taller, and it's just the most amazing thing. And I tell her, like, you may not, I'll ask her what her goals are, but ultimately we never know if we may get what we want. But as long as we do our best and show up and work hard, the skills that we learn from that process and that journey are the most rewarding thing to take us into our next chapter.
Absolutely. Real quick, Ariyana, where can people find you on social media? I mean, that's part of your portfolio.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I am at Ariyana X Jordan on Instagram.
All right, cool. Well, for Ariyana, thank you again.
Thank you.
Carlos?
Is that next to Ariana Grande?
Here we go.
My goodness, he won't let up. I'm Josh. Thank you for tuning in to the Tech School Podcast, brought to you by DSDT. See ya.
Sat in your car in my driveway. Where did we lose the time? We were just living for Friday.